Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. For a game primarily aimed at children, there are some complex systems at play. This means that there will be more than enough to keep big kids like myself happy, while my offspring slam into walls, drive backwards, and generally just drag the team down. Every single time. Does Team Sonic Racing hold up on Nintendo Switch? And do we have a new champion kart racer in town? Let's find out. First things first then, there is one. Story that is, and it's quite well handled. Sonic and Pals are visited by the extraterrestrial Dodon Parr, who it has to be said is one brilliant looking character. He invited them all to join him in a series of races across several different environments over the globe with a prize for the victor. Now, having suffered many plots and schemes from Eggman and others,
all this super science and punishing track talk sounds suspiciously Eggman-esque.
Team Sonic & Co are understandably a touch skeptical as to the intentions of Dodon, but he seems like a reasonable guy and some of them are pretty keen to race in his sweet looking karts. So off they go for a quick joyride in his rocket ship, and the tournament begins. Somewhere down the line, Dodon reveals the true reason he wants all these teams racing in his fancy engines, and it's at this stage good old Eggman chimes in. You'll have to experience that for yourself though, I don't want to spoil that. There has been a lot of fuss over a missing cutscene from the Nintendo Switch version, supposedly to cut down on the file size, so that it can fit on the cartridge. Which is pretty bad form, and I understand the irritated fans. There are some very high quality video compression techniques, plus if they really want to cut it, why didn't they include it as a download on day one? Either way, as you can see from the footage playing in the background, it's a shame it isn't included. It's a very cool intro and a nice way to introduce the characters and the story. Overall though, I like that they've added story and I'm pleasantly surprised by the way it's been executed. Story scores 16 out of 20. I am going to throw this out there nice and early. I enjoy Team Sonic Racing, maybe even more than Mario Kart. Oof, sorry FXG. Let's just let those words settle in, shall we? Is it a better game? Well, that's for you to decide, and maybe not. But as an adult and a huge fan of Mario Kart, there are a number of systems in place with Sonic Team Racing which give it a real leg up on its rivals. As one of Team Sonic, you'll embark upon your first race. Here you and two others, depending on who you choose to race as, will battle it out on a stage through several game modes, but more on those later. Everything is here you would expect from a kart racer. You can tap the accelerator in time with the count to gain a speed boost. Picking up these question marks, called wisps, will grant you a weapon power up, and of course there's the obligatory drifting. So in what way is this anywhere near as good as Mario Kart? Well, teamwork. Everyone has that one friend who's stupidly good at Mario Kart. They blast off into the distance, the rubber banding seemingly negated by their sheer force of will, and race after race they blue shell dodge their way to glory. You know the type. Well, not here. Not always. Not quite. Each team of 3 are working as a unit with a maximum of 4 teams in a race, giving a hectic 12 kart battle. If you are ahead of your fellows, then you might wish to share an item with them, which you can do simply by pressing A. Now if they hit the A, then the power-up shifts over. Maybe you're playing with a less skilled player. And we all know that at the back of the pack, you get the best power-ups, right? So you drop right back, collect one, only to pass it off to your middling comrades. It works so well, but there's more. As you blast your way back through the crowd, you might see a friend who's taken a knock. By jolting into them, they get a speed boost right back into the game. Finally, how about riding in front of them so they can slipstream behind you and then slingshot past? The icing on the cake, and the mechanic that means you actually want to do all of this, is the Team Ultimate, or as I like to call it, Supersonic Mode. Each of these cooperative actions fill this teamwork meter, and when full, your whole team essentially becomes supercharged versions, allowing you to blast over any surface and plow a hole right through the pack.
Anybody, help!
In this regard, there are so many tactical ways to play the game that just aren't available in other races. Many was the time my comrades and I were languishing at the rear, but slowly building that ultimate meter, ready to let loose on the last lap, while adding in little details like bumping other drivers during this to extend the length this boost lasts are a great touch. Unlike others that rely heavily on rubber banding in a variety of flavours, this same mechanic can benefit the front runners just as much, and for me at least gave a whole new flavour to the genre. Power slides work as you would expect, with different levels of charge, but there's a sweet spot to release here, whereby leaving it too late, you risk a fishtail, which takes me nicely onto the handling. The vehicles feel very good indeed. It's helped by the fact that they actually sound like real cars, rather than puny carts, but there's a very good level of control here, enough to follow players closely as they position to give you that much needed slipstream slingshot. Game modes. There are a plethora on offer in Team Sonic Racing, and as you move your merry band through the map, choosing which to take part in next and trying to meet the criteria to nab a key, you begin to realise how much work's been put into the level design, and also that most important element, variety. Whether it be the tracks which have a ton of alternate routes, reverse versions, or interactive scenery, or one of the many new game modes, it's all here. There's elimination, team race, time trial, capture X number of rings, as well as the new techniques. Each racer is one of 3 disciplines. They are speed, technique, and power, and individual racers are then granted a unique ability that matches that style, as well as passive ones such as the power type being unfettered by in-track obstacles, whereas everyone else will grind to a halt, or the technique style having the very useful ability to drive over difficult terrain like grass without being slowed down. These add another layer I appreciated, and when combined with the detailed vehicle customization options, you can really tailor very much of the game to suit your playstyle. Every car in the game is customizable, but these must first be unlocked. How you do this is quite simple, through Team Adventure mode, which grants you in-game currency to buy these mod pods. Yes, it has a loot box feel to it, but it's done right, before they warp that idea into the children's gambling money pit of woe that it's become. The unlocks then allow you to modify your kart and even save presets to use later depending on the stage once you've become familiar with their demands. Online plays here in every variety you might care for. Play locally against up to 3 other people in 4-player split screen, or jump online to challenge strangers or your friends. Noteworthy is the matchmaking system that aims to pair you with people of your ability, allowing for a good level of challenge when online. Gameplay is excellent, and most importantly, it's fresh. One noteworthy thing I would say, if you're thinking of a racer for kids, then maybe still go with the Mario Kart, as it's much easier for younger players. Still, I had a blast, and the focus on cooperation has paid off to my mind. Gameplay scores 19 out of 20. From the excellent theme song, Green Light Ride by Crush, to those bloody delightful sounding coins, this is Sonic through and through. Of the 21 tracks on offer, there are several that stood out as excellently designed. When I first saw the casino stage, I actually said, "That looks brilliant," out loud to my 3-year-old son. Now, he made a noise. I assume he was agreeing, but it could have been wind. Who knows? The vehicles are well crafted, and each rider and kart look detailed with enough customization to keep even car guys happy. Next up are the sounds, and these karts sound like they could actually race. When blasting around the course, different characters will communicate, maybe letting you know they need help, offering you an item, or thanking you for the slingshot you just provided. I found this dialogue was most welcome, and the voice acting okay, despite being a little bit sickly sweet at times. While good, some of the musical pieces are not quite up to the excellence of rival racers. Performance in single player is solid and feels smooth, however does not run at 60 frames per second. It feels more to me like 30 frames, but with a very consistent frame time and some clever motion blur effects to give the impression of a very smooth experience, and well, it works. It blasts along and everything is crisp and clear. Docked looks excellent, as does handheld. Split screen with 2 to 4 players takes a mild performance hit, but is still more than serviceable. Overall for me, visual scores 16 out of 20, with the audio also scoring 16 out of 20. The game costs £34.99, $39.99 or €39.99. It's a premium price for a premium game, and when you compare it to something like Mario Kart, seems decent value. There are a ton of things to like about this one, but I was really sold on the cooperative focus. Yes, you can still race like you're the only person on the track, but you'll get the most out of this one by working as a team. 21 tracks and 15 races are nice, but it's the aesthetic and vehicle customizations combined with the addictive unlocking of upgrades that will really get the hooks into you. Having a thorough story mode to bounce through before you hit the real meat of the game is a nice way of easing players into the more traditional modes of varying difficulties. Younger players, sub 5, will struggle, but hey, you just enjoyed the flashy colours and Rocky, as Sonic became known. Who knows? I didn't ask. Value scores 16 out of 20. Team Sonic Racing was a very pleasant surprise. One, because it looks and runs so well, but more so the gameplay choices they made. It scores a SwitchUp score of 82%. Thanks to all our Patreons, we've introduced our Patreon lottery, where a random patron will win a free game each and every month, just like we do with all our subscribers on the channel. One, because they deserve it, and two, because more patrons means more content, which means more SwitchUp. Hurrah! For all things Switch all the time, keep it SwitchUp. Cheers, guys. See ya!